Free little Boosie, man.
Welcome back to another video with IDN TV. Now, if you guys are new to the channel, hit that like button. Let's jump right into it. Now, we're on part 3 of Boosie. Boosie was granted a bond yesterday, but I'm not sure if he was actually released. Now, I have some new paperwork for you guys. It shows the pre-trial release order. It says Torrance Hatch. This was released June 20th, 2023, which was yesterday. It is ordered that the defendant's release is subject to these conditions. Mandatory conditions: defendant must not violate federal, state, or local law during the period of release. The defendant must cooperate in the collection of a DNA sample as authorized by 42 U.S.C. It also says the defendant must appear in court as ordered and surrender as directed to serve any sentence. The defendant must not possess or attempt to possess a firearm, destructive device, or other dangerous weapons. The defendant must legally transfer all firearms as directed by the pretrial services. The defendant must not use or possess a narcotic drug or other controlled substances without a lawful medication prescription. The defendant must not use or possess marijuana under any circumstances. The defendant must report to the U.S. Pretrial Services Office on the day of initial court appearance or within 24 hours of the defendant's release from custody, whichever is later. Throughout this case, the defendant must report as directed by the Pretrial Services Office and follow the directions of the Pretrial Services Office. The defendant must advise the court or Pretrial Services Office in writing that the defendant's current resident address and phone number will first report to Pretrial Services any new contact information before making any changes of residence or phone number. The defendant must read the Pretrial Release Order and advice of penalties and sanctions form or have them read to the defendant in the defendant's native language. The defendant must acknowledge the defendant's understanding of all pretrial release conditions and the penalties and sanctions for any violations by signing the advice of penalties and sanctions form. Now, this specifically for Boosie. They're going to restrict the travel. He cannot go to Mexico and he cannot leave the United States. He can travel throughout the United States for work. Now, he can't leave outside the USA. The defendant must execute an appearance bond in the total of $50,000, which needs to be secured by the defendant's own signature. A cash bond or bail bond by solvent corporate certi. A corporate bond must cover all conditions of release, not just appearances. It also says actively seek or continue full-time employment or schooling or a combination of both. Must reside with a family member at a residence approved by the Pretrial Services Office, including any contract facility. It also says surrender any valid passport to the Pretrial Services Office and not obtain a passport or international travel document. Boosie needs to clear all warrants, FTAs, and pay all fines within 90 days of the release as directed by the Pretrial Service Office. It also says avoid all contact, directly or indirectly, with any person, a victim or witness in the investigation or prosecution, including the security guard. His name is Billy Ray Johnson. It also says Boosie needs to stay on a curfew. The defendant is allowed to perform and travel to and from performances. It also says he has to wear ankle monitor, a global positioning system GPS, a smart link, and voice recognition. It also says defense counsel must notify pretrial services upon submission of bond paperwork. The defendant to be released from custody to pretrial services the following business day of 10 a.m. And then it says something in handwriting. I can't really read what it says. Now, this was submitted June 20th, 2023, and it was signed by the Honorable Judge Allison H. Hogarth. Now, a lot of people want to know what happened after Boosie left that state court case. Here's him getting arrested right after that state case by the feds. This is exclusive. Check it out.
Free little Boosie, man. Free little Boosie, man.
Just looking at this pre-trial release order, unless I'm missing a form or some information, it looks like Boosie can go around the United States and still make his bread. Now, if you guys don't know about Boosie, he said numerous of times that he gets paid a lot of money to perform these interviews for Vlad TV or anything that you see on YouTube or any podcast. They paid Boosie to get on it. So my thing is this: I'm wondering if anybody actually booked Boosie in advance. You know what I'm saying? They gave him a deposit, and maybe let's just say he has a engagement in July, the end of July. How does that's kind of tricky because it is for work. But of course, the people that are going to do the interview are going to ask some questions. They're probably going to finesse a way to get Boosie to talk. So let's talk about this, you guys, in the comments. Do you think Boosie should actually do these interviews? Me personally, I think he should just give the money back if he got paid for it. Another thing they filed today was a motion to stay. This was from the U.S. attorneys, and it's saying plaintiff United States of America by and through its counsel, Randy S. Grossman, United States attorney, and Michael G. Wheat, assistant United States attorney, hereby respectfully moves of an order for staying magistrate judge Allison H. Garber, release order ordered June 20th, 2023, in the above captioned case as to the defendant Torrance Hatch, aka Boosie, aka Lil Boosie, aka Boosie Badass. Now, on June 20th, 2023, set conditions for the release of the defendant Hatch. The United States moves this court for an order granting a stay of the release order so that an appeal may be heard by this court, setting a briefing schedule for the hearing. And then the attorneys actually filed something for Boosie. It says Torrance Hatch, by and through his counsels of record, moves for orders of striking the government's motion to stay detention order pending appeal, which was filed hours ago as the EFC document 14. In open court today, the government sought a stay pending appeal. The government's request for a stay was denied. In its motion, the United States failed to disclose the magistrate's denial of their request for a stay. The request should be filled as a motion for a reconsideration/review of a previously denied motion. Because it's not, Mr. Hatch urges the court to strike the government's improperly noticed motion. So if you guys know what that means, let me know. Now, just doing my research, quick research on the motion to stay. A motion to stay pretty much means that either Boosie or the feds are trying to take some information away from the case, meaning it could have been anything that doesn't involve anything that is relevant to the case. So that's what they're trying to get taken out. I will keep you guys updated, but yeah, Boosie, I haven't seen him on social media. No one has said Boosie was free. He was granted the bond, so we will have to wait and see. But as of now, Boosie is still in the state of California in the San Diego County Jail. So make sure you like the video for updates. I will catch you in the next video. IDN signing out.